So yesterday we took a look at the full set of concept art images for the Russian DLC In the Name of the Tsar, coming to Battlefield 1 in the near future. Now in that video I covered off the main locations for each of the maps, but I didn't really dive deeper into the screenshots. If we do take a closer look, there are some things in there that we can learn about what else could potentially be coming in this second DLC. First of all, bringing up the map that features the frozen archipelago that will model Operation Albion, which was a German attack on Russian-held territory, down here in the foreground, we can see a Russian soldier carrying a weapon that so far doesn't appear to model anything that we have in Battlefield 1. We've spoken about this weapon before in another one of my videos. This appears to be the Fedorov Avtomat, which is an automatic rifle produced by the Russian Empire starting in 1915. There's very little documentation about its use during World War I, but at least 8 of them were given to a special regiment of the Russian army for training in 1916, and that same regiment were then sent to the front lines in 1917 to fight with these weapons. Due to the revolution happening in Russia at the time, production of the weapon was fairly limited, and production completely stopped in the mid-1920s. But the last recorded use of a Fedorov Avtomat was during the Winter War between Russia and Finland in 1940. Assuming this weapon does come to Battlefield 1, I think it's a coin flip as to whether it'll land in the Assault class with the SMGs or the Medic class with the automatic rifles. With a fairly low rate of fire, only around 400 rounds a minute, I'd say it's going to be more at home in the Medic class. In the same image, we also have another Russian soldier firing a rifle, which is most likely the Mosin Nagant. Looking closely, it's got that characteristic curve to the wood under the barrel, which was present on most Nagant models, although it became much more pronounced the more the weapon progressed through the series. Some of the earlier ones didn't have that curve, so it could be something different, but I'm going to hazard a guess at it being the Mosin. Second image now, moving on to the Brusilov offensive in Galicia. And yes, to the people in the comments of my last video, I did notice the lances in the Russian cavalry soldiers' hands as they were riding across the field. It was fairly obvious, however, so I didn't really mention it. However, this could be an interesting change in the cavalry combat for Battlefield 1. If DICE does decide to add a weapon in like this, will it replace the primary options, or will it simply replace the saber that's currently the secondary weapon that you can use on horseback? I'd assume for something this large as well, like a lance, they need to develop specific animations for it, different to what we see with the saber. And what happens if the player decided to dismount the horse? Carrying a lance around on foot is a bit more difficult than a saber, or carrying the lance on horseback. So there's some stuff to think about there, but in any case, it will add some variety to the combat if it does make it into the game. The second thing in this image is the truck. Hats off to Toby Wood, he's one of my Twitter followers. He's dug up some information on what he thinks this could be. He thinks it's the Garford Putilov armoured car. Officially, Russia never fielded any of their own tanks during the war. Yes, the Tsar tank was real, it was massive, and it looked absolutely ridiculous, but it never made it past testing, and instead, they employed the use of armoured cars and artillery to inflict heavy damage. These vehicles were imported from the USA, made by the Garford Motor Truck Company, and then they were modified by the Russian army to suit the needs of their soldiers. They featured a rear-facing 7.62mm cannon, and that could swing round 270 degrees, covering the full back of the vehicle, and then towards the front, there were 2 7.62mm machine guns. There are some records of Germany using captured Garford trucks towards the end of the war as well, so this could be a very good vehicle to add some historical accuracy. Now, we're not 100% if that is the vehicle that's in this picture here, but it does look very similar, and it seems like the right kind of vehicle that could fit into Battlefield 1. The setting of this map as well, Galicia during the Brusilov offensive, that actually took place during the summer, so the snow on the ground isn't really accurate, but having watched Flakfire's video last night, he explained there were some smaller battles that led up to the Brusilov offensive in the early spring. So then there would still be snow laying on the ground, thawing away, and it leaves muddy fields in its wake. So potentially, we could see a smaller battle rather than the full-scale Brusilov offensive, which was much larger. This last image here of the Lupkow Pass I did go into a bit more depth with yesterday actually, but we can see again the Russian cavalry soldier with his lance, and the support soldier with what I think is the Parabellum MG14. Now if you want more information on that, you can check out my video from yesterday, that's linked down in the description. If you've spotted anything else that I've missed, then make sure to leave some comments down below, and I'll reply to some of them so they get bumped up to the top of the comments section. Thank you very much for watching today, and a massive thank you to Toby Wood on Twitter for helping out with this video. His Twitter is also linked down in the description. He likes to pull apart the trailers and any news releases really for Battlefield 1, so he's a good guy to follow if you like that kind of stuff. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.